welcome back to the Relentless Warrior podcast. You guys are in for a treat. I just wrapped up a conversation with soldier, family man, author, Clay Martin, and honestly, it really got to the heart of what this community, what we're all about. And so I am incredibly excited to share this conversation with you. I think you will really enjoy it, and there are insights that Clay shares that are some of maybe the most important questions we'll face as Americans. So enjoy it, get comfortable, and as always, stay ready, stay sharp, and be relentless. Love you. All right, we've been practicing, so now we're doing the real deal. So.
Brought to you live from the Action Eight Shop.
Exactly. Right. So, man, I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you sitting down with me, and just getting to know you better. And I think it's gonna be really good. I've read some of your stuff. We've trained before together. You've lived a remarkably fascinating life. So, if you don't mind, just sort of kind of paint the picture of how did you get where you were going? How did you land where you landed? Like what sort of painted that, right? I know it's a big question, right? But I'd love to hear whatever part of it you want to share would be awesome.
Lots of head-on attacks against brick walls. Keep going until you knock yourself out, and then go around it because that didn't work.
Yeah, right. Found a different way.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's a fair question, completely. Well, especially as it relates to the show that we're on. Maybe we'll go backwards even more after that.
Okay.
So so the short answer for like bio and stuff like that is I joined the Marine Corps when I was 18. I was a grunt. I was a reconnaissance Marine. I was a scout sniper. My GT score went up, so I had to change services.
Cool.
Crossed over the Army as we do.
That's right. Cool.
Sold my soul, no longer fit in the jar, whatever.
Yeah. You lost your appetite for crayons. It's
right. Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah.
Put on some weight.
True that.
Crayon intolerant. Something like that. Something 2025.
Yeah. Right.
Cross-teched over the Army, joined actually National Guard Special Forces group, went selection, went to Q course. After that wrapped up, did a tour with them, and then crossed over to 3rd Special Forces group, and just randomly kind of landed in the 3rd group Commanders and Extremist Force as a new guy.
Right.
And so lived out my career there as an 18 Echo. Got a chance to go to the intelligence course and become an 18 Fox after that. As a sniper and assaulter for them. Then I actually went and taught at the close quarter battle schoolhouse for a while, and I got bored while I was there, as we do.
Yep.
So you know what I need to do more of when I'm shooting all day is shoot competitively.
There you go.
Made my wife very happy. So,
yeah. Cool.
What if you just shot for 8 hours a day and then you did it for a hobby for like 4 more? Yeah, that's great. It's up every weekend.
Yeah. Right.
So that was what I did. Did that for a number of years. Finally grew up a little bit, I suppose.
That's true.
Has some kids, which will do that to you.
Yeah, it will.
And got out of that game, became a gun journalist for a little while, which was actually extremely distasteful.
Right.
As people that can actually shoot or really care about stuff like the journalism or the product side of these things, it's absolutely awful. You want to throw up every day. But turned that into a series of novels. Actually, it was like, well, I can still type. So wrote some books, and then got back into the training business, which I'd been out of for a number of years. That kind of ended up where we are today.
It's awesome, man. Well, so did you always know was writing always a thing, or was that just?
No, it was a random stupid human trick.
Okay.
So I was doing so much gun journalism because I'm an idiot. I was like, I'm really tired of writing about, it turns out that AR-15s are black.
Right.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of them shoot 5.56.
Most of them.
You can only write so many words to that effect.
Yeah, right.
And people that care about like the barrels, whatever, and I don't. I just care if it goes bad. I drive the race car.
Does it work? That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
And if it doesn't, we'll throw it away, we'll get it out.
That's right.
But I was writing some like 30 or 40,000 words a month about nonsense.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But, this Glock is now available in tan.
Yeah, right. No, that's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. So it was basically a challenge with something like, I hate this and I don't want to do this anymore. And what can I do with writing that will, get me out of this?
Yeah.
It's like, well, write a book. Like, that seems easy.
Yep.
And that's what I did. I started writing books, and it was just kind of an inherent, or, weird talent that I didn't know I had because it was easy for me.
Well, that's awesome. So a lot of the guys that either are watching Relentless or trained in Apex or are just in our kind of community, know you from your preparedness book, right? From Concrete Jungle.
Those were by far the biggest ones.
Right. Yeah. Concrete Jungle and Prairie Fire.
Yep.
Right. Kind of where we are, Prairie Fire is like, I mean, it's remarkably credible, yes, but a very useful resource as people are thinking about things, right?
Right.
So I think a lot of people who know of you, maybe know of you through that vein.
Yeah.
So where do you think now, today, 2025, Trump's back in office, J.D. Vance is there.
We've been winning, it feels like,
Yeah,
a month.
Right, yeah,
So,
ish, right? Yeah, like Elon is cutting stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think I know the answer to this, but I'd like to hear it.
Sure.
Given we've got 40 days of a win, right? What do you, how do you see, do you still see some type of collapse unfolding? And if so, like, has your timeline shifted at all on when you expect it, how you expect it, or no?
I think it's a totally fair question. And I will be honest, took a little bit of soul searching after these things happened because it was not exactly in line with how I anticipated things.
Okay.
Even Trump getting to the sworn in part, like, it was kind of a miracle.
100%.
Like
100%.
I really thought they were going to whack him.
Agreed.
And I didn't know a lot about J.D. Vance, and some of what I did know I didn't like.
Right.
Like, this seems like the play.
Yep. Seems like, yeah, I'm with you.
But it's not what happened.
Right.
So I've had to do a lot of, like, reconsidering myself, and it's also very easy to get caught up in the win.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So you want to be this guy that is a realist and is not black-pilled that, oh my God, it's doom and gloom and everything has to always be failure and catastrophe.
Yep.
But you also don't want to be caught up in the the honey trap. Like,
yeah.
Hey, look, man, I know I'm a hard 6.
Right.
And if the 10 is talking to me way more than she should,
yep,
something is wrong.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
It is not my charming personality.
That's it.
Something is off.
Yeah, it's not that my pheromones just grabbed her somehow, right? Yeah, I'm with you.
You confuse me with Aaron Rodgers.
Right, exactly.
So that's kind of where I feel we are right now. Like, I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I like some of the winning that we've been doing.
Sure.
But I'm never going to fully trust the government again. One, obviously, like,
never.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And number 2, I'm watching now for, like, what's the other play?
Yeah.
And what it actually is, I don't know. I mean, I can speculate.
Yeah.
I think that we may have actually entered a period where everything these guys are doing, and it's been great. Like, the winning has been great.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, but it is going to spark off the other side.
Yeah.
The lefty, the globalists, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And as much as we like to think those people are stupid and all this other stuff, they're not stupid.
And they're not going to just take their ball and go home.
No, they're not.
Yeah, right.
And we cut up their funding from USAID, but they have trillions.
Yeah, right.
Stashed.
Yeah.
Right. And many speculate have been preparing for this war or for this phase of things for like 60 years.
Right.
Now, I do think they were caught off guard.
Sure. I agree.
I think that they're reeling right now. They're on the back foot.
Right.
But they will counterstrike.
Agree.
And I think that they're willing to burn the whole thing down rather than lose.
So I completely agree with you. I was exactly like you. I was having conversations at home.
Mm-hmm.
And CJ's sitting behind the camera right now. He can tell you I was having conversations at home saying there's no way he will be allowed to win. And if he wins, there's no way he'll be allowed to take office. Like I was
Me too. It was that guy.
Concrete boots saying there's no way he's president again.
Right.
And then obviously that didn't happen. And sort of my preps, for lack of to use a little bit of a cheeseball vernacular, kind of have stepped up. I'm like, okay, listen. So if we get a breather, I'm going to use it, right? I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna say, okay, well, great, everything's great, sensibility is back, and we're gonna go back to the days of the American family and the American dream and all that ain't happening no more, right? And so yeah, I think that's really. I think there's a lot of people who are like that. There's some people who are living the rainbow,
right?
Unicorn. We won. It's over.
Yeah.
Those people are not really probably not watching this, right?
Fair. Yeah.
There are a lot of people though, I think, who are like, okay, so we have this win. How do I make the best of it?
Right.
Like, what do I focus on?
Yep.
What should I be mindful of?
Yep.
Obviously the legacy media and stuff is
dying.
Worthless. It's there's nothing there. So where do you get your news? Right? What do you watch? What do you read? What do you with the exception of maybe just contacts that you've made over time, right?
Right.
And you know, I've got one of those. My brother's got a couple of those. But other than that, like where do you look to know, okay, what should I be focusing on as I'm preparing for a worst case scenario or something?
This is actually a weird change of probably the last year, maybe the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I used to be a news junkie.
Okay.
And when legacy media fell apart, all right, or when I realized that they were completely full of shit, then I would switch to, alternate source.
Right.
Now I'm digging around the internet. I got my secret, internet source,
Sure. Yeah.
zero, whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, about 2 years ago, I just came to the conclusion that none of the strategic information level, none of it matters at all. None of it affects me personally.
Okay.
And most of it is, if it's not propaganda from one side, it's propaganda from the other, which is just as bad.
Facts.
So I've got in the habit of taking like a quick look at things that I feel like are good sources, like at Times of India.
Okay.
Times of India is great.
Right.
Their bias, especially about world news and not Indian news, tends to be extremely neutral.
Awesome.
And they'll tell you things about China and Russia that China and Russia are saying that you'll never get on media here.
Fantastic.
Which is great.
Okay.
And so I do a little bit of that.
Yep.
And then I do a little bit of this is public source, a little bit like Twitter stuff. I look at people that are saying certain things, certain places.
Sure.
Usually people that it's not that I know, but I have like a weird, I wouldn't even say I have like a Twitter relate. I've watched their account long enough for me to think they're a real person. Really,
gotcha.
Whatever place.
I'm tracking.
Yeah. So I got like a little network of those. And that's really all I rely on for outside information.
Okay. Yeah. So you alluded to something that I've been, and the guys that we're training with this weekend, right?
Yeah.
We've been talking about is I think a lot of us were very outwardly focused, very kind of watch the news.
I'm going to figure out what's going on, guy.
Yeah. Right. Versus now the conversation is, hey, what's going to impact us?
Right.
What's going to impact our families? What's going to impact our community? What's going to impact and I think there's sort of a general pessimism there. For me specifically, and I've talked about this a lot today, I'm generally pessimistic about people, a little bit, right? About the goodness of humans and
gotcha, yeah.
But I'm remarkably pessimistic that every empire has fallen.
Yeah,
every empire so far has fallen.
Yep.
And so I think that happens at some point. That's going to happen for us, and where I've gravitated towards is trying to shore up my security, being able to feed my family, being able to, access water, stuff like that, and train for lack of a better word, when those who haven't made those preparations come to try to take mine.
Right.
Right.
I get it 100%.
And so I think that mindset is sometimes hard for people to swallow.
Yes.
Like, hey, your buddy, your neighbor down the road, if they see that you have some resources and the lights go out for 3 weeks, they're coming to ask you maybe, but they want to eat, And so it's my wife is the eternal optimist, right? She's like, ooh,
makes for a good match.
Evidently, right? And so so that was a difficult, not a difficult, but like, she's like, ooh, I don't want to know this, but then she's like, on the same time, ooh, I got to know this, right?
Right.
So how's that reconcile? Like, is it kind of like, hey, if you see the writing on the wall, you see this is coming and you get prepared, great. And if you want some help, I'll do it. And if not, sorry about your luck. Or is there like a recruit? Like, is there a proselyte? Do you proselytize? Yeah.
It's a good question. It's a fair question. I think that one, I think that's the right focus on our communities first.
Right.
The things that we can actually affect.
Yeah.
And I don't generally proselytize it. But I think also we may have actually entered like a completely new phase.
Okay.
And this is unorthodox thinking, but I think this may be where we're at. It ends up with the same result of where you're sitting at, but it is a bigger strategic picture of what I think may actually happen. I think some cards got played in a lot of ways that no one was expecting. And this is going to turn into like the world war of Western society. Happens to be the United States. That's it.
Yeah, right.
And only about 48% of us.
Right.
Versus everyone else.
Okay.
Because I believe Europe is actually our enemy.
I don't disagree at all.
All it really took was somebody pointing out to me, like, who's pushing the green energy agenda? It's like, well, who doesn't have hydrocarbons in their economic zone?
Right.
The Europeans.
Yeah, right.
and they have all the banking money and all this stuff.
Absolutely.
They're trying to drag us into Russia, which we don't need to do.
That's right.
If there's any country in the world that we should be allied with, it actually is Russia. Look at trade across the Bering Sea. Look at what our cultures have in common. Look at the resources that each of us have that the other one needs.
Right.
So they could potentially weirdly be an ally. But I do believe that there may be a different outcome than we were expecting, where we are going to have to fight for the continent.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's a whole different ball of wax.
I love that you said, one, I have extended family members whose heads just absolutely exploded to hear you say that. But I agree with you completely. And what I think is I used to be a history teacher.
Oh, yeah.
And forever we've loved our isolationism. We've loved the fact that we were isolated from any major threats by two oceans.
Right.
That's not true anymore.
No.
Whether it's from technology or from the ideology of American citizens who hate America.
Yeah.
Right. I had a conversation yesterday with a guy. It was when the Roman citizens started hating the Roman dream.
Yep.
Rome fell apart.
Yeah.
And when we have, like you say, 52% of our population disdaining the American dream, disdaining the values that we were founded upon, disdaining our founding documents and freedom of speech and all of these things. I think there absolutely comes where those of us in the 48% are going to have to make a choice.
Maybe we make a Western Empire choice or an Eastern, whichever we want to be.
Right.
I guess we're west of Mississippi, we're probably west.
Well, we call us West, right?
Right.
And
I mean, it's a fair point. And honestly, the hardest thing I'm having reconciling this within myself is, I said I would never fight for the Empire again. And I think a lot of guys did, especially they didn't realize how dirty the GWAT was. And it's really, really bad because we were told for our entire young lives they would never run the Vietnam playbook again. And what happened?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Exactly the same playbook for 20 years.
Absolutely right.
And we did all this shit and took all the sacrifice for basically like KBR stock price. A lot of us, burned really bad from that.
Yeah.
So now, I think this is a very serious question, and this is one that we're answering for ourselves right now. Like, it'd be really hard for me to trust Empire again.
Absolutely. Okay. Man. Absolutely. Yes.
But I, unfortunately, because I know me, can see a situation where that's it. Give me the banner. I'm
sure
a guy again.
Yeah.
And I think that actually makes this a very difficult time for a lot of us.
I agree with you, man. Man, so much. So I'm fifth generation military.
Yep.
When I went in, I asked my dad, I said, hey, would you go in if you were me? Right. And he said, I'm not going to answer that question.
Yeah.
He said, I would never discourage you from going in. He said, when I was in, it formed me. It made me who I am. It was a great experience. And he was in Vietnam.
Yep.
He actually commanded the largest company in terms of number of men. It was the largest company to serve in Vietnam.
Wow.
And he's like, it was amazing for me. And he went in, enlisted, and went through OCS and all that stuff. And he said, but also, if it went badly, I would never forgive myself for encouraging you. Right. So fast forward, I went in. I was in under Clinton, and we're every time Monica Lewinsky's dress got dirty, we're sending another 10,000 guys to Bosnia.
Yeah.
And then when my son asked me, what I thought about him going in the military, the answer for the Larimores was very different. I said, I hope you don't.
Right.
I said, because I don't trust the leadership to value your life enough. And I also don't trust that we would be fighting on the side of righteousness every time.
Which is a real problem.
Absolutely. Right. And that's what we were fed, you and I, as young boys.
Right.
Is that if you're fighting for America, you're fighting for the good guys every time. Right. And
rainbow flags, training, all this crazy stuff.
Yeah. Mutilation of teenagers and stuff like that.
Yes.
Right. And that
continued pedophilia amongst the Afghans, all this crazy stuff.
Exactly right.
It's really hard to swallow that for a while you were the bad guy.
Straight up.
I've told people I'm an ex-government stormtrooper, and I feel that way, legitimate.
Wow, yeah.
As a lot of dirty stuff for not a lot of good reasons. So these are very real and legitimate questions.
Right. And so for me, for me, it was like, okay, I believe that if the shit's the fan, I know what my violence threshold is. I know my boundaries of what force and how I would use it and all of those things and who I would fight for and all those things. And if someone were to come for my family, come for my family's food, whatever, I know what I have a problem doing and what I don't have a problem doing.
Right.
I fast forward to that situation, and I'm like, I want to be able to sleep at night also, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the Relentless Warrior podcast came from. That's where Apex Training Systems came from. Was okay. I'm going to throw the information I know out there.
Yeah.
I'm by no means the most high speed or best at hand-to-hand combat or you saw today. I'm absolutely not the best pistol shooter and things like that. But it's like, I'm going to make what I can do available. I'll help you if you want to seek help. Like we can be in this together in the prequel, so that if you choose not to prepare, if you choose to fight on the rainbow flag side,
yeah,
when it's going off, and we're in conflict, I can go to bed, I can sleep, and feel that I did my best, and now we're in conflict, and you either chose the wrong side or chose not to jump on a side, and that this is, it sounds fatalistic or whatever, but I mean, if folks are standing at the gate right out there saying, "Give us your food," and I know I'll engage them, and I know now I'll be able to sleep at night because I'm helping. I hope I'm helping to solve the problem. In the pregame.
Right. No, I totally get it. It actually brings up another concept too. This is what I thought of when you were talking. Told me the name of the podcast the first time. I've been talking in like not in like a formal sense, like an offline sense with all these other dudes from the background. I know a lot of people from social media, but I've a lot of them, like, I know at least to know that they're real in real life.
Right.
And there's this, I don't even know who came up with it the first time. There's this concept of we need to recapture the competence that American frontiersmen had, broadly speaking.
Yeah.
In all of our men.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that way they're good whether we don't have to go to the military for finishing school anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But if we choose to go fight for empire or, we're way more competent.
Yeah.
And all this stuff.
Yeah.
And when really, especially where we're sitting at right now in Texas, the guys that were like just frontier nugs, right? For the large part, because they grew up in this weird world of like individual combat,
right?
Fending for themselves in like hostile territory, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right? They were wildly competent, so competent that they were way more competent than the army of the day when it finally showed up to help. It was mostly, people walking around wearing the soles of their boots, not seeing anyone ever.
Right.
And it was the frontier guys that had to scout for them, had to do all this stuff. It fought a lot of the major battles, or at least set the conditions so that this army of basically incompetence could catch up to it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, it is. That's actually basically true all the time from the time we landed on this continent. Yeah. It was especially true out here on the plains.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Man, that's a great point. And so I've talked about on this before. I quoted Jordan Peterson's, a harmless man is not a good man, right? I think everybody's heard that, right? And I've talked about being dangerous, and I've talked and the capability of violence under control, and maybe never have to use it. If dear Lord, if you never have to use it, great.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Mantra of my life though is it's better to have it and not need it,
right?
Than need it and not have it,
right?
And so I think that kind of brings me to another topic I wanted us to talk about, right? So there's some similarities in mindset, right? That come along with either whether it's vets, or it's just people who see the writing on the wall and see the way things are unfolding and stuff like that. And there's some, how do you cope with yourself? How do you rectify the two sides of yourself, right? There's the side of all the great men that I know. They want to protect, they want to defend, they want to help build, they want to provide.
Yeah.
And then if things go bad, they want to protect, they want to defend, they want to in a different way.
Right.
And I think they struggle with what's the switch. There's definitely a switch there that causes all of us to sort of wrestle with, okay, who are we really? Yeah. Can you be both of these?
Yeah.
Or are you you're either
One or the other.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how do you navigate that? Right? Because you have 5 kids, right?
Yes.
5 kids, wife, live in Oklahoma.
Who are little now, yep.
Right. You got little kids to grown kids.
Yep.
Right. So there's that side of you.
Yep.
And then there's the other side of you that is has been and can be and will be and is,
They got
ready to rock. Right. So how do you reconcile that in a healthy way?
It's a very important question.
Yeah. I have failed at that miserably multiple times.
So have I.
Okay.
Always have.
Uh-huh.
And, hell, maybe part of it is actually that we never really understood the framework of how that should work.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I've definitely caused problems by overreacting in the one way.
Absolutely.
It was not what was needed.
Same.
All right. I would still rather do that though than underreact.
Agree.
And guess what?
Okay.
That's life.
Yeah.
All right. So we have to be able to be both guys. And that's actually very American too. We have done extraordinarily well as a people, as an American people, with part-time warriors.
Absolutely.
We didn't even really, for most of that time, the only professionals that we had was the very small officer cast of
right.
the army of the 1860s, 1910s or whatever. It was tiny,
right?
Comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
Every war that we've ever fought has mostly been fought by guys that just showed up, and it's not a matter of money or anything. It's not like our training was actually that great or anything. Look at some of the stuff they had in World War II. They're training with broomsticks painted black instead of rifles.
Yeah, right.
Right. They never fight a real regiment in combat.
Yeah. Right? They don't know how to clear clear a malfunction, nothing. Right, yeah.
Yeah, and then, they were great at it.
Right.
So, I'm also not saying that you should never train.
That's right.
But we can do both. We can absolutely do both. And I think that maybe is actually a symptom of the most modern culture too, where we've built all these heroes and you gotta, if you're not SEAL Team 6, you're nothing.
Yeah, right.
That's complete nonsense.
Yeah, right.
So what we should be looking at for regular dudes, all right, look, man, you gotta have a job and something that pays the bills, all right, you gotta do that, all right. But are you gonna spend the rest of your time watching TV and tweeting and doing nonsense,
right?
Or are you gonna have some hours in there that are gonna make you a better and a capable man?
Love it.
And you actually don't know how capable, man. You might be awesome in this. You might be the dude,
right?
You're not gonna be the dude if you're covered in Cheetos and you have no cardio.
Straight up,
right?
Yeah.
And that, hell, it's half the hero stories of at least all of American war and a lot of war period anyway.
Yeah.
Is some guy that there's no way should have prevailed rather than the occasion. It happens.
Yeah, for sure.
But you have to have something.
Right.
There's never been a case where it was the dopey guy that served wine at the Roman Starbucks. It didn't happen.
Right, yeah.
He had something though.
Right.
All right. So if we look at that as the starting point, all right, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Also with that, even if you never end up having to use it, or I don't know, professionals keep the wolf at bay out there doing whatever nonsense.
Okay.
Still, what have you traded? All right, you've gained a new level of confidence and capability. You've shared that with your sons.
Yep.
Done things to make you both physically stronger and to test your mettle and your mental ability. You've gained a not a false, but a real, true sense of self-worth and self-esteem that has value, is measurable.
Absolutely.
All these things are great. So would you rather do that or be a soy boy?
Yeah.
It's really a small trade. It's a couple hours a week, man. It's not, I'm not asking somebody to
right,
run the, Delta Force's same schedule after you get home from work. That's
right.
ridiculous.
Sure,
right?
Of course. Yeah. So one of the things that I struggle with a lot is this idea that I had to have this decompression time.
Mm-hmm.
So in my professional career, I dealt with some really, really heinous child abuse cases.
Oh,
and just some of the worst, definitely some of the worst stuff you hear about on this side of the planet. And where I was knocking on doors and I was from a public school principal setting, right? But where the state had failed these kids and we're just trying to do things. And so I saw a lot of, I saw a young lady who'd been raped till her pelvis broke and stuff like that. Right. And so I would come home and I would be like, oh, I have to decompress so that I'm not a complete ass to my family.
Yep.
And so I would kind of put on this little fake smile and talk to the boys and talk to my wife or whatever. And then I would like, okay, what am I going to do with these hours when I'm probably going to, I can't sleep anyways.
Yep.
I got to watch a movie, or I got to, I got to decompress.
Yep.
And I wasted, I don't even know. I mean, it has to be in the years,
Of course.
in terms of amount of a time that I just wasted trying to decompress or whatever,
right,
rather than go, okay, there is a dark side to this world. There is a dark side to humanity.
Yep.
I've always known that. It's not going to change. I'm doing the best I can do. Now, what am I going to do with the rest of this time? And I'm 45 years old right now, and I'm only just now sort of waking up to.
Understandable. Yeah.
I'm gonna be more. I'm gonna be a positive force as well.
Yeah.
Right. I may try to confront the negative, but I'm also going to be a positive force.
Right.
Right. And it like I'm disappointed in myself that it took me 4.5 decades to figure that out. But I think that's so crucial from what you do. The books are amazing, right? And I want to talk about like your other books as well. But like the books are amazing. But I'll tell you, from the first time our group trained with you, we referenced those interactions a dozen times a week. And none of those are about shooting long-range rifles, right? We talk about it a little bit, but what we talk about was, honestly, and I don't say this to blow smoke, but it's like, man, we can do more. Like you're doing more. You're like literally building whatever that empire might be. It's going to be the small communities that are currently making themselves capable, currently making themselves able to defend their families and those types of things. That's who it's going to be. And in essence, you're kind of training that army right now in some ways, right? And so like to me, that's a pretty momentously positive undertaking, to bring what you know to average Joes is pretty awesome and rare.
Well, it is. I mean, you're absolutely right, and thank you for teeing that up for me. But this is true. This is a true piece of it. In order to succeed at that, to really want it to make it work, all right, it can't be a business first.
Yeah,
it has to be belief first.
Absolutely,
and that is very rare.
I agree.
There's some people that have it, and that's great, and I love dealing with those dudes, and I'm one of them.
Right.
When you believe that you're actually essentially like saving your people in a broad spectrum, or doing your piece of what that is.
Yep.
That changes the way that you interface with.
Yeah.
In a big way. Yeah. And that's huge. And what I really want that to help other guys do is realize, like, you don't have to show up to this thing and do all this stuff.
Right.
You change it right where you're sitting at right now.
That's right.
Yeah. And then when you like run out of stuff that you can do, like you find another dude, you
absolutely
learn stuff from him and you bring it back.
Yeah.
And you keep, this is also how we push the ball forward. All right. We keep elevating our brothers and our people. Yeah. And eventually like want to stop.
Absolutely. Man, it's amazing. So you're literally hitting on a recurring conversation that Scott and I have on, hey man, right now it might be my turn to help you to the next level or whatever of whatever facet, whatever we're doing. And then in a minute, it'll be your turn to help me.
Right.
And whatever venture that is, or endeavor that is, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And that to me is like empowering. It's like, we really do have a purpose. Like it really is. We're a meaning to guys like us.
Right.
And it's necessary that we exist and that we do the best we can.
Yeah.
Right. And man, I wish I could say I did the best I could half my life.
Me too. Do we all? I mean, this has been one of the weirdest things I think about living in this era. Mm-hmm. Especially with like the social media and like the negativity from it. It does feel like a weirdly like spiritual sense. Like they've been beating us down for like 60 years or more.
Oh yeah.
But definitely for most of my lifetime, it's been absolutely true. And this is even the way that like we're raised Americans. Like it's always hyper competitive, and the military is you're never good enough. Like as I said in one of my books, like You never get told what you did right. You're always what you told you did wrong.
Absolutely.
And it's this whole like beat down and atomized system. And if we can recognize that and start doing it the other way and building our brothers up in our communities and all these things, that is a huge amount of power. I mean,
absolutely. And you said it. It's I don't know the time frame. Yeah. I've told my wife, I'm like, I think things are going to get really, really hard in our lifetime. Yep. Like when it's ours to handle.
Yep.
But man, if it doesn't, if I'm off, the investment that we're making and the gift we're giving to what is now a very small group of kids.
Yeah.
But the kids who have it are in my opinion, we're giving them maybe the best gift legacy we can give them. Like I told you, and I think we share some similarities. I grew up mad poor.
Me too.
And counted the houses. Went back to Amarillo one time and counted and moved 23 times in the 21 years that I lived there. Lived in 23 different places, right? And there was a resiliency there that came with that, right? And so I always had this, and I have unbelievably amazing parents.
Yeah.
I mentioned my dad, and my mom, the little Italian lady that just the picture of strength, right?
Yeah.
But I always had this. I've got to leave this fortune for my kids. I've got to I've got to build this thing to leave for my kids.
Yep.
And it's only since I've had kids that I'm like, if I do that, great, that'd be cool. If that doesn't happen, can I leave a legacy where they understand their purpose, where they understand their value, where they understand themselves, they understand their faith, whatever, and they're capable,
right,
to live it out. And I think it's a really small group of kids right now.
Right. It really is. Yeah. No, you're right.
That to me is the scary thing.
Yeah.
Is those of us who have a mindset like we do, I don't know, is it half of our kids who share that mindset? Is it more than half, less than half? I mean, that 48% could be shrinking.
Well, I mean, how many of us are to start with? It's probably more like 5%.
Sure.
Yeah. So it is a problem.
Yeah.
And I see the same thing. And growing up in those types of situations too, I'm the same thing. You always wonder, like, am I making my kids tough enough? I'm like, well, I'm not going to do the things to them that made me tough because that's not what I'm going to do.
Right.
But how do I do that this is a different way?
Yeah.
I mean, how do I give them everything that I have that's good about me and my strengths, preferably none of my weaknesses.
Sure.
And have them know and understand like everything that I know how to do by the time they're like 18.
Yeah.
And that gives them, basically I'm trying to give them huge advantage for the next generation.
Yep.
And I also want them to understand how to pass that on.
Yeah.
As essentially in a lot of ways what we're raising right now is leadership for the next generation.
Sure.
If it doesn't happen in our lifetime, well, guess what?
Yeah.
This is that.
Oh,
this is it. It's really like
you guys really got a big job.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And it gets progressive. But what else can I give them?
Sure.
I mean, honestly, if I left my kids like $100 million, I've seen this actually play out a lot of times when I was still doing private security, things like that. Almost every family fortune in America is burned in 3 generations.
Right. I've heard that so many times. Yeah.
First one makes it. Second one screws it up. Third one just wastes it on heroin.
Yep.
There are a few that survive.
Sure.
Most of them collapse. I would much rather make my kids like strong and capable, which I know I can succeed at, than try to make them, pile of maybe fake dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Held up by LOL nut.
Right. Exactly.
If I can have both, cool.
Right.
But yeah, and this was actually a big struggle for me when I had kids. And this is something my wife was good at and I'm not. I would work entirely too hard chasing the material things. Mm-hmm. And, she's like, that's not what you need to do. Mm-hmm. And it took a long time for that to sink in. And that may actually be worse for like dudes that came from poverty. Like, oh my God, they're going to have new Nikes.
Yeah, right.
Have used Nikes.
They're not going to have, exactly right.
And
yeah. They're not going to get made fun of for
right.
the
right.
Yeah.
When it turns out that actually doesn't matter.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of lessons in there with parenting that are,
Oh, it's great. In the 8th grade, it felt like it was the biggest thing in the world to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it, I remembered it.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Like it was that, if anything, that experience made me stronger.
Exactly.
Right. And so I think that's again, it's a unfolding sort of enlightenment. And one of the things that I struggled with personally in one of the darkest times of my life was worrying that, and we talked about this briefly, the fable or whatever of we all have the two wolves living inside of us, and that the wolf that survives is the one that you feed, and you've got the evil wolf, the wolf that causes harm and wreckage and things like that, and the wolf that leads the pack and protects and provides. And I faced kind of a crisis point where I felt like it was inevitable that I would only feed the evil wolf. I would only feed the wolf that was going to cause harm.
Right.
And it was who was it going to harm the most was my two boys.
Right.
And I was going to anything good I've given them, I was going to wreck it.
Yeah.
And more than that, I was going to do dramatic amounts of damage to them moving forward, up to the point where it felt like maybe my presence
is a problem.
It's
a hindrance.
Right.
It's a net negative.
And I think there's a lot of guys who
it's easy to feel that way, especially when you're war on men for 40 years.
Yes, exactly right.
In most literature, anything, men can do no right, especially straight ones that have children.
Sure. Oh gosh, geez.
Yeah, like, oh, wow, this is terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So no, I think a lot of guys get to that point, and it's also been like eye-opening, probably just in the last 5 years, getting to know some dudes in their early 20s to like early 30s, which I didn't know a lot of before, because know people that are basically your age.
Sure, right, yeah.
But these guys, it is really rough on them. Mm-hmm. They're having a really bad time.
Yeah.
Because of just what you said. They're told all day, every day that, they are a net negative to it. When the reality is what is needed is way more masculinity, way more influence on, especially, I'll say it straight up, like women can't raise boys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Yeah. So it's very problematic, but it's easy to start feeling that way.
Yeah.
It's very easy to start feeling that way. And there's not a lot of resources that will like help you flip that around and realize that it's the polar opposite.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I feel your pain there.
Yeah. And it's, and I think that's that right there might be the crux of the mission for the stateside American male.
Yeah.
Who that might be the crux of the mission is be a force that flips that narrative.
Right.
Be a force that lives out an example of, because what do they say about the every stereotype has a bit of truth.
Yes.
Right. And so I absolutely agree with you. There's been a war on men for 40 years.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of men who didn't help that out at all.
Man, no, there's been a lot of bad ones. Yeah.
There's been a lot of bad ones.
Yeah.
And so
ones or any of the above.
Right.
Yeah.
And so be a force that helps people see that's not true. You know what I mean? See the reality that a good, capable, strong, dangerous man who has that in check, like Jordan Peterson says, right? Who has that in check and is willing to do the day-to-day mundane hard things, as well as the extremely unique and explosive things to protect those around them and stuff like that. That really is what we're here for.
Oh, Daniel Penny.
Right. No, exactly. It's why we're here. It's the purpose that we're here for. And that's where, man, I think it's hard to overstate how many ways that purpose has been attacked.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's
primary mission for a whole lot of people and a whole lot of money for a real long time.
Absolutely. I mean, it's relatively easy to see, my belief in globalists and that there is a true nefarious force at work, tearing down our purpose.
Yep.
Right. And so the hope is that there's enough men who say, yes, that force is massive.
Yep.
And has 100 years of momentum behind it. And I'm still going to stand up to it.
Right.
Rather than just go with it.
Right.
So, man, what would be, like, we'll wrap this up. I'm not going to keep you here all night, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay. Doors.
what would be like the 11 people who are watching this right now, whatever, right? Like, what's the take? Like, what's the thing? Like your your mission or your purpose now, the last half of your life? Like what is it? Like what's the driving factor for you every day?
Primary mission is make sure that my boys are squared away.
Cool.
You start at home.
Yep.
Secondary then is make sure my own stuff is squared away, because that's actually how you accomplish mission number one.
Straight up.
Children see a lot more than they hear.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Gosh, yeah.
So, and I look back on especially my two youngest when I was older and perhaps a bit more of a disaster, and I don't like deeply reflect on this because that's not healthy either. It's not positive.
Okay.
But I do at least stop and think, like, what is the negativity and the weakness that I've shown them when I wanted to show them something else? That's what gets me going.
Yeah.
Okay. Like maybe the last 3 days was totally effed up.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna fix it right now.
Yeah.
We'll be this guy.
Oh, it's awesome, man.
That's good stuff.
That really is, because I can't think of it so many times.
Yeah.
I wanted to show them that positive, failed miserably at it.
Of course.
Showed them some negative.
Yeah.
Got pissed off that I showed them some negative and made it worse.
Yes.
So many times.
Very common. Yes, me too.
Wow.
And so then third,
Mhm.
This goes back to what we have to do for each other, and this also kind of runs against the narrative, even of, or at least that we've been taught of, like, America, winners, it's cutthroat business, whatever.
Yeah, right.
That's not actually true, or that's not actually what we're here for. The reality is we do need to help our brother, and so just like trying to be the positivity for them,
Right.
Same thing for, in whatever my role might be, or yours, or anybody else's, just be a net positive.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe, like, you're the third worst guy in the whole country, but you're trying really hard.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, man? The guy that is the worst guy, he can still look up to you.
Yeah, right.
He can't look up to, I don't know, whoever's not a sellout. Yeah, all the celebrities.
Who's not a sellout, right?
John Cena. Trying to bite him. Somebody else then.
Right.
I don't know. Superman.
Yeah, it's tough, it's tough to name one who's not.
Right. Superman got a rainbow cape. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, whatever. They can't look at that guy and be like,
Yeah.
but they can look at somebody down here and be like, I can
go there.
yeah, this guy did it. All right, man, I can be like him. I can step it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And just these slow steps of positivity. That's how we all help each other. And it is a brotherhood.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing that the last thing, and the thing that has been, in my, I haven't known you very long,
yeah,
but the impact that you've had on me is this idea of making the brotherhood accessible.
Yes.
Because I've known so many guys who served.
Yeah.
Right. Or they did something with MMA or something like that. They've done something.
Yeah.
And they want to build that up to be so much more that they protect it, and they broadcast this fake bravado. I'll just say it, this bullshit.
Yeah.
That they build themselves up by not letting anybody in.
Right.
Right. And to me, the thing that has been most impactful and has you resonate with me so profoundly is that there's none of that. None of that comes through from you. And I think that's important for us as a brotherhood. Just make the brotherhood accessible.
You have to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
look, even if you're going to have things that are like, you're going to gatekeep a little bit. And it is important, certain things to gatekeep.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Because you do not gatekeep them so hard that, like, this guy is like, get out of here, you have no chance.
Right.
You need to make it so you need to gatekeep this so it has some purity. It's like a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You don't just hand them out.
Absolutely.
But there needs to be a pathway for this guy to get.
Right. If you're breaking the legs of every white belt who walks through the door,
guess what?
You're the only guy in the room.
Exactly.
And so that's the thing. Yes, it might take 10 years, 12 years, 15 years to become that black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Yep.
But if you break an arm of every white belt that walks through the door and make them quit,
you got nobody to practice on anymore.
That's it. You don't have a brotherhood anymore. You're standing there by yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I love the analogy of that of the wolf who's by himself dies.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it's the humility and stuff and just it's a fine line to walk. You know what I mean? Because because you let everybody in, you let the devil in with the
correct.
You can't do that.
Right.
But you can also. It can be challenging, but it can be possible.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So I very much appreciate that. from you. It was a conversation that you and I had the first time we trained together, just us, relatively brief, that was empowering enough to me. And I went home and I told my wife, I said, hey, this guy just said this to me and spoke this into my life. And she was like, oh, you got to do something with that. And from that, there was Apex, there was Relentless. And she was like, you have to do this. And I've spoke a lot about her on tonight, but it was profoundly impactful. Because not only did you make it accessible, but you kind of made it a challenge. Like, why are you not? And I very much appreciate it. And I'll take this forum to thank you personally.
Good, brother.
I really do appreciate it. So, but man, thank you so much. Like, this has been.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh man, this is again, like I said, if we throw the cameras up and all that other stuff, and I just get the chance to have this conversation, I'm in. But I can't thank you enough, brother. I really appreciate, and I'm looking forward to what's ahead.
Me too, brother.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.